All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for
Spice and Wolf, episode 14. New arc.
New arc.
Let's go. And maybe new OP
might
and
actually
ED.
be leaving the city.
We might be. Yeah, because, Holo has recovered from her sickness.
Oh, no. Just the physical sickness.
Just the physical sickness. The sickness of the heart is one that is much more difficult to recover from.
It is impossible to recover from.
Yeah, that
You just carry it with you.
that shit kills you.
It does. You just remember, like, I remember that time when I felt like
Right.
things.
It certainly has been killing Lawrence's bank account. Well, no, actually, it's been pretty good for his bank account.
It's been pretty good, actually.
No, they've been properly tending
it's
to
a
that.
net positive.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a pretty
for sure.
good net positive.
But now, next arc, is this going to be an arc that I recognize, or is this going to be the one that's cut? I don't know whether it's this one or the next one. But,
All right.
Yeah.
But y'all, without further ado, let's get into this.
Wind's howling.
Is something wrong?
Could you maybe stick your tail under the blanket?
How dare you treat my tail like some communal hot water bottle?
Lawrence just wants that tail.
By the way, I have a little gift for you.
I thought...
They announce your status as a nun, but signal that you won't be there to proselytize. You have to wear them somewhere they'll be easily seen.
Okay.
That's cool.
I had just hoped for a surprise is all.
Oh.
Not cold utility.
Oh.
So, are we close to this town yet?
Yep, we're almost there. Gumerson's currently having a big market ahead of their annual
Cool.
festival, that is.
A festival?
A festival?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the Laundra Festival. It draws in quite the enormous crowd every year.
The funds you put towards my snacks, you
Yes.
did not pay for those from our room and board money, did you?
No, we've enough for a reason.
We budgeted properly.
Yeah.
Ooh, imagine how terrible it would be if low on coin we two had to share but one single bed.
Oh,
yes.
no!
Such as I would sleep on occasion.
Huh.
Just one bed? What a tragedy! Whatever would we do?
Yes, that would be truly terrible.
One gets kept awake, it's me with your snoring.
What did you say?
On top of that, you aren't my type anyway.
Oh, shit.
Oh!
You're saying you want me to play all sweet and innocent for...
Oh my god.
Oh, this is
If you
fun.
wish me to take on the role of doe-eyed princess, then you must show the strength of the stalwart knight.
Yes.
Although thinking back, there was one occasion you acted the part of the knight.
Huh?
Do you not remember it? That troublesome mess in those dingy underground channels.
Yep.
I confess, I was rendered speechless. It was the first time anyone cared enough to protect me like that.
Yeah. Hey. Oh, I love this. So sweet.
Not my type.
I do love that coy, flustered side of you.
Oh.
Well.
Perhaps a single bed would not be so terrible after all. For if we get half the beds, that means we can double the food.
That
Wait.
was adorable.
Wait, so... Oh!
It
LOP!
Wait. Oh, okay. Or yeah,
Wait.
okay. All right.
Yes, it is
I
LP.
couldn't tell. Oh, yes. Let's go.
Wait, this
Is this Ame? I think it might be. Oh, if that's the case, two of my favorite things together. Oh, that makes me so happy.
Yeah, it is. That's all right.
Kevin Penkin? Okay, so yeah, this is the arc that I've seen.
Because you don't recognize a lot of this?
No, I do recognize. I recognize the lady coming down the stairs.
Gotcha.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Hello.
That makes me so happy.
Oh, so good.
I struggle to imagine what manner of flavorsome dishes could be cooked up with fish as a base.
You can steam it with vegetables and meat, or grill it with herbs. Lots of things.
Perhaps we should secure our supper by purchasing some salty goods straight from the source. That briny scent has been
Cut out the
wafting
middleman.
on the wind. They are transporting fish, no doubt.
Okay. We could hit the docks outside of town, yeah.
Yeah.
Pardon me for asking, but are you a traveling merchant?
Yes, we came by way of Ruvenhagen. We were just nearby and thought we'd try to nab ourselves a quick supper.
Oh, is that so?
We could spare one or two.
Yeah.
Say, if you were trying to buy some fish for supper, does that mean you two are planning on staying in Gumerson?
We are, for the winter market and the festival.
You're with a merchant association? Might I ask you which one it is?
Rowan Merchant Association.
I'm part of the Rowan Association too.
Hey.
Cool.
Talk about divine intervention.
Oh,
Name's Fermi Amati, but in
Fermia.
business, I
Okay.
simply go by Amati.
Am I?
Amati.
Craft Lawrence. Just Lawrence is fine.
All right, we got a young merchant too.
Yeah.
Oh, smitten.
Nice to meet you.
Holo here is a traveling nun from the church.
Shit.
Finding 2 rooms might be difficult, but if you're all right with just one, I'll call in a favor from my contacts.
Oh no, that's far too much to ask.
I won't hear one more word.
And don't worry, I will make sure there's 2 beds.
This is giving me good boy from Tales of Berseria vibes.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Same.
Yeah.
First things first. Food.
Food.
What is that?
A letter from a
That was good
merchant
animation
friend of
too.
mine. It was waiting for me at the trading house we stopped by.
Okay.
Dang, it's quick.
Important information only ever seems to arrive after it's no longer of any use to you. Typical, isn't it?
There are far too many letters to memorize, and their combinations are both
Oh.
incomprehensible and ugly.
Advising me not to invest in armor since the cancellation.
Yeah.
All the greatest plans of man can be made and broken by a single piece of paper.
Yeah.
That is quite enough talk of unpalatable things. Tis time to
Like a marriage certificate. No, I'm just kidding. Oh.
Dudum, dudum,
Thank you
dudum,
for
dudum.
finding us such a wonderful room.
perhaps you might suggest a menu item or two?
Yes, you just leave it to me, Miss Holo.
Whatever you say.
Uh-huh.
That young boy truly has surpassing taste.
And at such a young age, he's already responsible for a rich assortment of goods.
Or has the blunder of Reuvenhagen shaken your faith in your acquisitional judgment?
Well,
Damn.
dazzling.
Wow.
It should turn a nice profit. Besides, not all of my goods are plant.
Yeah.
The last time I checked, I had you in my cart.
Oh,
Words are the poor man's currency.
wow. Bitch, please. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you imagine how horrible it would be had that line worked and you learned to repeat such drivel?
Damn.
Next time I'll
Fool.
just...
Kindness is what matters most in a male.
What about the flattery will get you everywhere? Like,
It is easy to forget a sight seen just 10 years on, but a flavor once tasted and an aroma once...
True. Forever. Yeah.
So have you always had a liking for such strong alcohol?
Only alcohol as strong as this is fitting for the noble wise wolf.
You've thrown back enough to topple a horse.
I am the wise wolf, you know.
Cut to like.
oh my god.
I knew you'd be feeling it this morning. I'll have a water jug and basin sent up for you, so try to stay in bed, all right?
I love the idea that she was having like mead or something, so it was very like sugary.
Right.
She couldn't tell how much alcohol
Yeah.
she's having.
Am I interrupting something?
Nah, he was just talking my ear off about what a blessing Pitola's mountain god is.
There may be benefit in the following of a mountain god than one who never sets foot beyond their golden shrine.
No doubt. Though they say it's the gods of the harvest that are the real.
Oh.
I brought some nails with me from Reuvenhagen. I'd like you to buy them.
Literally shiny.
Nails? You do recall I deal in wheat, right?
So sell them alongside the wheat. I've got 120 nails, 3-pate long, 200 4-pate long, and 200 5-pate.
I'll buy the whole lot for 10.5 Lumion.
That's much too low.
Haven't you heard already?
Oh.
The Great Northern Expedition was canceled. All surplus swords and armor are being melted down.
Call it 16 and we're done.
No, sir. 13 if you're lucky.
15.
14 and 2/3.
It's a deal.
right.
Nicely done, brother. So, how do you want your spoils?
What do you need?
I've
Alright.
just purchased those goods there. Put them onto our cart, will you? I'll be selling them later.
Oh, all right.
As I recall, you still haven't met my kid yet, have you?
Oh.
She was expecting.
The kid's already two.
I cannot
Dang.
believe you opened your own shop, took on an apprentice, and became a father.
I'm seeing a theme coming together here.
Yeah.
Okay, so credit being then just something for later.
Maybe.
Another one.
Or maybe it's
Brace
like,
yourself, you'll end up moaning in bed all...
yeah, I don't know.
He didn't clarify the business deal, so I feel like,
Do you mind if I ask you something?
yeah.
Ask away.
Can you tell me exactly where your hometown is?
Did you think that broaching the subject of Yoitsu would send me spiraling into despair? Do I truly appear to be that?
No, you're spiraling right now. Just answer the question.
I do not seem to remember its location. Not quite.
Yeah.
Hey, come now.
I am certain my recollection will return once we draw nearer to it. The only towns I can remember are Yoitsu, and... Now I recall, Nyohira.
Oh, Nyohira. I know that place.
Really? You know of it?
Yeah, famous for its hot springs.
Oh.
Oh.
Somewhere that way.
Southwest, huh?
That's a cool way to kind of...
Yeah.
2 days at a run, for me.
Had a run for you. Right.
Yeah. Right, that speed.
Yeah.
That's a long way.
I feel like we are finally making some tangible progress towards reaching my goal. I can
Might not
That's-
be able to make that distance in
Yeah.
wintertime.
Do you think you can make it home alone once we reach Nyohira? You know the way, right?
Yes, of course. I
Uh,
can make it from Nyohira. I am so cold. I am...
so lonely.
Hey, it's not that I'm trying to run you off. Holo, I have every intention of helping you all the way. My words just now.
I know I said kindness is what matters most in males, but please, your charity will only leave us both the poorer.
Yeah.
To me, humans grow up and grow old in the fleeting blink of an eye. A year is a span beyond value in the scope of a short life. It seems that I have grown drunk. I should go to bed quickly.
Oh.
More nonsense.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. The visual, yep. It's all just very up. This is gonna be a good discussion. Ah, yes, wonderful.
Okay.
Perfect
OP
time for the
time.
discussion.
Or Edie. Yeah.
The shot of like, wow, this is such a large distance.
Uh-huh.
And they showed how far they were on the opposite side of the room with the fire between them. And then it's like, the logs slowly splitting. And then it's like, but we have made some tangible progress.
Yeah.
We have gotten closer.
Uh-huh.
Ah, okay.
Yep.
That was a really good episode. Bookended
Yeah.
by some really great scenes in the beginning and the end. And of course, the final scene being one that's especially painful because you could see all the progress that had been made in the beginning and the way in which it had just kind of cracked apart.
Yeah.
In the end.
Things have been really convenient. Well, okay. Not entirely convenient, but they're both going in the same direction, you know? It's a different one. It's like, okay,
it's
so it'd
just
take me a
easy.
month, it'd take you 2 days, and that's not even factoring in, like, we're going north in the wintertime, and, like,
Yeah.
To say nothing of, like, her not knowing precisely where it is. So,
Yeah,
like,
that's
any
rough.
searching that would need to happen when it takes him a month versus her 2 days, she could probably search the whole area in a day. You know? Whereas, what, 2 weeks, you know?
Right. And it's the part of this that is being very well addressed right now. And that is that they need each other, but for very different reasons.
Yes.
And this is important here. Because Lawrence, for instance, does like her.
Oh, yeah.
But the difference is that it's not a question of whether or not he knows she likes him or he doesn't, because that has another connotation to it. But it's that the reason why he needs her in terms of just like who he is as a person is that her company is overall just enriching to him.
Yep.
It is more of a boon, a joy, versus a
Staving
situation
off of a
from
negative.
Holo, a staving off of a negative, which is the crippling fear, loneliness, and just existential dread of just, I have nobody right now. Like, I need someone to bring me back to level. And he's like, oh, we can do fun stuff that elevates the experience. But if you look at the way in which they are both then kind of using the other,
Sure.
it can get kind of cold and utilitarian, which is what was addressed at the beginning of the episode of, oh, I thought when you said, you know,
You had a
surprise
surprise
for me that it was going to be something other than cold utility, which needs to be addressed here. What is the actual motivation, if you will, the internal motivation as to why they're still together. It's a little bit of cold utility mixed in with all the other stuff.
Yeah.
And until it's said, until it's brought up, until it's addressed,
This
kind of stuff is bound to happen.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
And that would be in a regular situation with two normal humans.
Right.
Rather than a human and an ancient, wolf
god.
being.
Yeah,
right,
yeah. Right.
So
that just exacerbates it even
Yeah,
more
it's
because
like-
then everything is in extremes.
it very much feels like that thing of where you got a relationship, you got a good thing going, but maybe you want different things in the future, and then that gets brought up, right? And it's like,
and she even said it. She even said it of, oh, are you maybe hesitant to bring it up because it's going to send me into a spiral or something, or
Right.
And it's like, wait, why do you why do you think that?
That's
You think that because
you said it, not me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and that's what happened here.
That's probably why you aren't bringing it up regularly
Right.
about why you're going for the destination, because you actually really want the journey.
Exactly.
Which means in some ways you're taking advantage of the, hey, I'm going to take you for a trip here. That was the original promise.
Right.
And if we don't know exactly how to get there, we don't need to bring that up to him.
And the thing is that I feel like it's one of those things where a lot of the issues that are at hand are there because of the contrivances that they constructed.
Oh, yeah.
So that they wouldn't have to actually
Talk
openly
about it.
communicate.
Yep.
Because if it's just, I really don't want to be alone and I really enjoy your company. Great. I also really don't want to be alone and really enjoy your company.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's all you need,
That
right?
is literally it.
You don't need to go back to Yoitsu.
No.
Finding out what the status is of your home, that totally makes sense.
Let's go get some closure.
And you could do that in a weekend, right?
Right. You could do that in 10 years.
Sure.
If you guys really enjoy each other's company that much, that's not a
big deal.
It's not an urgent thing to do.
A week later, you're back and you're like, yeah, I found the place and it's right. It's, I know where it is now. I can go back there if I need to. I still want to travel with you. Or, yeah, no, it's totally fucking gone. And I definitely want to keep traveling with you because there's no place for me to go. And, like you could figure that out. But that's not what's happening here.
No.
And so, yeah, of course there's this issue here, right? And as much as Holo talks about the males want the in their own insecurities, they want the weak partner that then can make them feel strong and everything. Holo's kind of doing the same thing.
Yes.
Because her pride is making it so that she's not actually communicating how, she does feel like she would almost be spiraling if, this, right? And so, I'm so grateful I have you because that helps me not, right? But, that would involve maybe
vulnerability.
Yeah.
Which is scary. Mm-hmm. And
especially given that you know that you're going to lose this person.
Potential for heartache and pain.
Right, because you're going to lose this person anyways.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like it's...
They'd be dead in 40 to 50 years, yeah.
Right.
Just probably.
Yep.
Most likely.
It's that kind of stuff where I'm like, while I love the idea of a pet, I don't think I would want to have a pet because knowing that you'll get so attached and then it's going to be dead in 15 years and it's like...
That's the view of a cold immortal. That's the view of a cold immortal. When you've had a pet, and they love you and you love it, there is something so precious about knowing that you are going to be 100% of its existence. Its entire existence, unless some circumstance happens, will be, involved in your life.
Right.
And you and it. Mm-hmm. There is absolutely, I would say, something very, important about the fact that because we are mortal beings that have limited lifespans, to basically celebrate the journey of life and what something will have. Because at the same measure, every single relationship you have will also end at some point before you die or once you're dead. That is a Well, yeah, but I think that's the beauty of it. Basically, is that things cannot be valued in the same way outside of our understanding, I would say, without that inevitability of it ending.
Yes, the limited time is what helps give it meaning. But that's also what we can say for, our lives in general, as opposed to the, yes, barring some, crazy exception, this will be a small part of my life. And yeah. It's just a wild thing to me. And so when you have these stories where you have the either immortal or just ancient, long-lived, person, and the not long-lived person.
Right.
It's, we can think about it in the realm of fantasy and like, yes, but think about the love that's there and all of that stuff. But at the same time, if I were actually in a situation like that, I have no idea how it would affect me, like.
Which situation?
In this situation on either side, right?
So you don't know what it would be like to be Lawrence?
I mean, I can guess, but
I feel like
versus the actuality of.
Well, no. I only think that it would be hard to discern what it'd be like to be Holo, but like with Lawrence, I think it makes total sense of what it would mean to be like that. Yeah? It's basically just, you just are in a relationship with somebody 30 years or 20 years younger. Like, say you're 70, right? Say you're 70, and you're gonna live for another 10 years, 15 or 20 years, or what have you. And you fall in love with someone that's 42 or something, right? And you're in a situation where you tell them like, hey, odds are I don't have 20 years. Right. Yeah. Are you willing to?
And what does that mean? And all that.
Be in that position. To be in that spot there, and the idea that someone could celebrate the journey and still understand that at some point they'll say goodbye. It's like having a traveling partner for a period of time. You don't know how long you're going to be around them and stuff.
Like I can mentally grok that in my head, but still I feel like there's a fundamental disconnect between me actually like understanding that.
Sure. I think we have to in some ways fraction it down a little bit in order to understand it. A great example of this, I would say, is the vacation crush, basically.
Oh, okay,
where you go on a vacation.
Right.
You end up meeting somebody, and for like a week, you're like, oh, this is really cool, really cute and stuff. This is really fun.
And yet you know that...
You know that, and they know that it's just like, this is never going to lead to anything. Right. This is just a fun little thing there. And I've had this happen a couple times. And I would say that my favorite experience of this growing up was the one where we both acknowledged it 2 days in to the 8 or 9 day vacation. Right. And we're like, hey... you're going to have a great life. You're going to have a really great life. But it's not going to be with me. So let's not entertain that. Right. Let's just enjoy our time together.
Yeah. Focus on the present.
Live in the now.
Right.
And it was fun, but it's just the thing of like,
And that's kind of what these characters need to do here, right? Thinking about the future, it's easy for things to get unwieldy, right? And I think that goes for any relationship, but especially for this one, right? Because it's got that fantastical circumstance that makes it in a very literal way unmanageable.
Sure.
Whereas maybe in the real life with real relationships, it maybe feels unmanageable.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that's why it's a great sort of representation of that.
Totally.
that exaggeration that we get in fiction.
For sure.
But yeah, if they just say, yes, that is a thing, and then more or less figure out a way to put it aside, there's no reason that they can't keep traveling, right?
Oh, totally.
And
yet they're in love with each other.
Oh yeah.
So there's we're past crush at this point.
Exactly. And yet even if Holo were to leave for a bit, right, with how fast she goes and with her nose and everything, right, she would absolutely be able to find Lawrence again. Right.
Oh, find him again? I don't know.
Yeah. The tricky, if she knew the general direction he was going.
Well, yeah, but the tricky thing is, let's say she spends a year looking for Yoitsu. That's the name of the city? Yoitsu. Thank you. Yeah. I'm taking a name from something else. Let's say she finds it eventually, right? I think it would take her actually a genuinely long time because of how much he moves. Yeah. And one of the other things that is not being spoken about that she does maybe need to acknowledge a little bit is that she has a very convenient vehicle, literally, pun intended, to moving around from city to city without being ever encountering problems in that regard.
Is true. That is
Otherwise,
true.
she would need to earn money. Otherwise, she would need to basically
make sure
constantly swap forms in a way that would be, safe. She would need to, in a lot of ways, procure clothes that could be, conveniently,
have stashes of clothes
and stashed places.
Right.
And, what is she supposed to do when she's running around in wolf form? Grab the clothes and put them in her
satchel,
mouth,
tied around the tooth.
Right.
Yeah.
This isn't the D&D bullshit where you
just
wild
morphs into your
shape
form.
into a thing and then you're like, my pack is transmuted too.
And yet she could probably easily be there and back in a week or two and have fully scoured the area.
If she knows where it is.
If she knows where it is,
but
or at the very
thing.
least realize that it's not over there.
But that's the thing. You don't just realize that it's not there if you don't know where you're supposed to be looking. You could end up searching for a place that doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
And if she's not necessarily keen to just, go to all the humans in the area and be like, do you know this place? Do you know this place? And they're like, why are you asking about a place that's been gone for 150 years?
That's the other thing. That's the other thing. Don't worry about this now. You know the town that's the closest place to it.
True.
Once you're there,
then
that place will probably have information or histories or things like that.
Yeah.
Like find old atlases or maps or whatever where you might be able to be like, oh yes, Yoitsu, it was a place that did exist, or just no, it's forever ago. You know. And then go from there.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see if Holo blames herself potentially for bringing up how much the wine made her nostalgic. Part of the thing with Holo is that on the outside she acts pretty shameless, I would say.
Yes.
On the inside, I can feel that little bit of shame.
There's you can see the way those ears might tilt down.
But there's a difference between, I would say, feeling regret and shame. Let me unpack this here.
Yeah.
The difference is that shame is a form of pride. And Holo is very proud, which usually means that there's shame hidden somewhere underneath it. But a lot of times, I would say people mistake confidence and pride. Like there's an actual Venn diagram where they cross over and look the same. But with Holo, there's the idea of the long-lived life. The relationships come and gone and all that.
Yeah.
And I think she feels some little bit of that, some tiny little bit hidden deep down in there. And that's where some aspects of her pride probably come from. And the rest is a lot of, confidence and just being who she is.
Right.
But if that's the case, I could see this whole experience of coming up to things that remind her of her home, then being like, shit, why did I bring this up right now?
Why did I ruin a good thing?
Yeah And I think that she does a good job of setting good, I would call, not even boundaries, but more like setting good standards with regards to the ways in which Kraft Lawrence addresses her and speaks to her and such, and she can get a bit snappy and snippy with it. But there are other times where I think she kind of gets on her own case a little bit with regards to
I wouldn't
figuring out.
I wouldn't be
stuff.
surprised by that.
It's a bit of a read, but it's
No, I feel like that makes sense because she like the pride thing is 100% there.
Right.
Like yes, there's confidence, but 100% a lot of pride.
Yeah.
And also that's something that makes sense because if you think about who she is, she has been so distanced from people.
Yeah.
That aspect of herself would be something that would go kind of unchecked.
It wouldn't be tempered as much.
Yeah.
It would be a bit rough.
Right. Because she hasn't interacted with people much, right? And so this is, traveling with Lawrence, that's also her reacclimating to society,
Right. Like the interpersonal details, the actual dialogue with society versus the, I know what their traditions and customs are, and people tend to be afraid of this, or animals tend to not like this, This is more the, oh, I'm actually speaking with a male with, hair, chin, nose, belly button, and cock,
Yeah, right. Like, as much as she talks about herself being the wise wolf, and
Right.
she is, this also, like, kind of gives me the vibe of, like, what you could have of that really intelligent but really withdrawn person that doesn't understand social stuff that then suddenly
Sure.
comes in and feels the need to basically bluster.
Sure.
You know?
There is, thankfully, I will say this is just I want to praise the show for something in this regard that it's not doing. Holo is not the super amazing magical girl that needs basically to be guided around like a babe by the man that's not
Right.
Yeah, there's a really overused trope which basically infantilizes.
This is not Born Sexy Yesterday.
Yes, this is not Born Sexy Yesterday. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you. I forgot the trope name and I was trying to describe it without actually knowing the name. But yes, Holo is not that. Thank goodness. She is tempered with the, hey, I don't know how to do the human thing perfectly well, but no, I can absolutely blend into society rather nicely.
I can blend into society. The problem that I have is maybe with like relationships,
like long-term friends.
Yeah,
and, like,
exactly.
Exactly.
That stuff where that will matter the most.
Right.
And so here she's in a situation where, as much as she might not want to acknowledge it, she
Yes.
is out of her element.
Yes.
And so it makes sense that she would basically be scared, right? On top of the fact that this is revolving around a closely guarded vulnerability of hers, right? And that she's terrified of being alone.
Yeah.
And so now, in the situation where she thinks that she's going to be forced to be alone again, when in reality, Lawrence is just bringing up like a thing of like, hey, if it's going to be hard to travel around in wintertime, I'm probably going to have to stay a week in a location anyways. Like once we get to the town, great.
Yeah.
But I got a cart. That's not going to travel easy in winter with snow and everything. So you could just take a trip up there and,
Oh man, you know what's really good writing about this as well is that if not for some things that happened in the cart, they might have advanced the relationship part enough where the flirting of potentially bunking down together for winter could have been addressed in a more amicable way.
Which would then make it so that then they wouldn't be relying on the pretense of the traveling together.
Right. So then it's the thing of like, I mean, it wouldn't be the end of the world if we spent, a few months together in one place, sharing a lodge of some kind, sharing some kind of a place.
That could, in fact, be a way that I could try and, get my feet wet with the single locale merchant life, I am trying to eventually open a shop after all.
Yeah. Now, here's the part that's, a bit tricky with that is that Lawrence still does need to make money. Like he can't do it. He can't do his usual business of taking the same thing in one town and selling it again in the same town. Like that doesn't really work.
And that especially doesn't work if it's a month traveling out into the wilderness where you don't know if there's anything actually out there.
Totally.
Yeah.
But I think what he's also saying is that it's hey, I'll make like the geese and go south for the winter. You go north for a little bit and we'll, potentially meet back up in, a place or what have you.
Right.
And yet, he kind of forgot how the biggest vulnerable moment that she's had with him
was about being alone.
Was her talking about how terrified she was of being alone.
Right.
Which, this is maybe a thing that's also maybe a tricky thing with regards to the difference of their ages. Holo mentioned memory this episode.
Yeah.
The idea that words are, the poor man's,
currency.
Yeah. But if you have contrasting that with the wine, the idea that a taste, a smell can be remembered forever.
Yep.
I think she was, not even her, but the writing was drawing a parallel between words and kindness.
Okay.
Meaning that his act of chivalry in the tunnels, a kindness, if you will, is something that she'll never forget.
Right.
A few flirty words that he throws at her. Yeah, sure, that's nice, but no, I'm not going to let you know that works on me.
Right,
because
right.
Then you might get the wrong idea and then
think
start
that's-
using that.
or just that.
Or just that, right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So she's kind of taking that prideful approach of like, I have to teach you, young one. Like,
Right. That definitely didn't work on me.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
no, totally not.
Uh-huh.
But the idea that for her, these kindnesses, these tender moments, are not just things that she remembers for a long time. She remembers for a long time for an immortal, for
Right,
this.
exactly, yeah.
Whereas for him, he's moving day to day. He lives
Yeah.
in the present. He doesn't
Right.
live in the past like you, Holo.
Even for humans, he lives on a shorter timetable because
Exactly.
he's always traveling.
Right. So his memory with regards to some of these things also might be a little bit shoddier.
Sure.
And also, this is the other thing. People don't really remember kindnesses they do to others as much as kindness is done to them.
Oh, absolutely, because you don't necessarily know the effect that it has on somebody, especially if they don't communicate.
Well,
even
not
then-
trying to draw that distinction.
Uh-huh.
Not trying to draw that distinction. I think that's a good point. But what the distinction I'm trying to make here is that, Holo, that moment was huge for you.
Right.
It was a big moment for him, but it wasn't a life,
Right. There have been things that people have done for me that I know they don't remember.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Right.
And it's like, no, but that was everything for me. And I'm sure the same goes, where there are things that I've done for people where they're like, oh, they, still remember that and I don't, right?
Yeah.
That's
life.
That's life. Yeah.
And we're egocentric beings in general. So learning that so that you can in some ways celebrate the people in your life by reminding them of the things that they've done that
Yes.
make them valuable, and not just, oh, they have value.
Right,
but
and
no,
like the merchant
make
sense
you,
or whatever,
make you love them for these things. These are the
Right.
things that you care deeply about them. And that's something that maybe I have a stint towards by being a words of affirmation person, but I
gotcha.
think that's important because some people need to be reminded who they are to you.
Right.
And these are ways that you can do that in a way that genuinely reminds them of things that they might have actually forgotten.
Because you are not traveling companions.
No, you are not.
That's
You are
not what
you
this
are,
is.
You are starting there.
Yeah,
You have
it was
moved
a
into
great
what
place
I
to
would
start.
call-
That is not where you're ending.
You have moved into the dear friends category,
Right.
which is not in a relationship in the
But like-
romantic sexual sense or anything
But
like
for
that.
the full One Piece reference, you are Nakama.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
like
exactly.
that's you don't just
right.
don't just stop. You
you
know.
risked your life for her, my dude.
Right. You have the X's on your hands. Right. Like
right.
that's
Yeah, that's
to mark the spot of the treasure and all that. Right. Like that. So
Yeah.
Yeah. Like that's and man, having situations like that, if that ain't a real thing, where it's like the
Yeah, true.
but having that DTR of defining the relationship and all that stuff, that's always just so much fun.
Oh, we love
and so you
that.
avoid it. But then at the same time it's like but this is definitely more than like the surface
So
thing.
what you're
But-
saying is, Jacob, they have a situationship.
See, not even a situationship because they haven't done anything yet.
No. But even then, a situationship.
Well, no, that's a
doesn't-
good point. Situationship doesn't have to be sexual.
No,
Yeah.
it doesn't actually.
Right.
I would say most of the time it's not. like.
Yeah, no, this is definitely a situationship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they just kind of situationed into a awkward talk here.
A situation.
A situation.
And
I love
now. Yeah.
Yeah. Wouldn't it
So-
be fun to go to the festival now together and you're just kind of like, yeah, let's celebrate the present. Yeah. Oh, fuck.
Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, the new merchant dude is like making doe eyes at Holo. Wow. You're so amazing. I know you're a nun, but like,
Oh my
but
gosh.
wow.
Do you think Holo will like entertain him to kind of piss off Lawrence?
I mean, I've seen the arc before. So,
Oh, I thought you said you hadn't seen this one.
No. I haven't seen. I've seen this one.
Oh,
I
pretty sure it's the
so
next
that means
one.
the next one is probably the one I haven't seen.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. But all right, y'all, thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, though, go check out the dibbly-doos around here for our Patreon. You can get on early access there. You can watch full-length timer reactions there, and all this comes with Discord access, so you can chat with us in the community there about this show, about anime in general. And also be sure to check out our Twitch channel. So yeah, if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.